Okay, guys, let's get going here. So we'll go over some course logistics for Oceanside. We're also going to go over a lot of best practices, things that you need to really optimize and take into account to have your best performance out there. So as we're going through this, you have questions, make sure you either unmute and ask a question, or if you write it in the chat, somebody's got to tell me because when I share a screen, I can't see the chat. So and if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, write a comment on YouTube or just text one of your coaches or call us so we can get the questions answered. But yeah, so let's get into it. Eli, what's up? Here is the beautiful. So ask them in the chat. Watching YouTube's ask them in the comments section. Make we all have it. Our Ironman is our profile. Ironman, I mean Tower 26 as our club in our profile. Well, I know that. Jacqueline, right? Hopefully, you guys all looked at the race plan, tried to fill one out. If you didn't fill one out, at least you thought about filling one out and what you would put here. So if you don't have that, let me know and I will email it to you so you can fill it out and then we can talk it over. All right, just real quick, we have our checklist, just stuff to throw in. What's nice is for many of us West Coasters, we just throw everything in our car and we use what we use. And if we don't use it, at least we have it with us. So you have your triathlon kit, you have your wetsuit, two pairs of goggles. Now remember how sunny it is at the far turnaround of this race. So you're gonna need tinted goggles and that wetsuit and Vaseline. We won't put Vaseline on any hot spots if there's uh any friction between your skin and the wetsuit. Mason just came in and waved to me. Mason, the swimmer, came in and waved to me just now. Bike helmet, cycling shoes, race belt. Remember, we need to wear a race belt on the bike. This is the only race where you have to wear your race belt on the bike. That's because Jordy and his buddies at the Marines require that in order to use Pendleton. So if you have a problem with that, talk to Jordy. He's on the call. Warm clothes in the morning. It might be a little cool, so make sure you have something to wear to T1 in the morning and you're not freezing and shivering. You can always shed it. Sunglasses, water bottle, nutrition. Make sure you're wearing sunglasses on the bike or you have a visor on your helmet. I would suggest, even if you have a visor, wear sunglasses and not the visor because the visors tend to fog up pretty bad on this course coming out of the water. Your nutrition, anything you need to change a flat. And there's a pumps all over transition areas, so you don't really have to have a pump. Put the right air pressure in your tires before you drop your bike off on Friday, but then race morning, just use one of the pumps in transition. They're all over the outside of the transition on the gate, inside transition, but on the gates that surround transition, there's pumps every 10 feet. So if there's a huge line for a pump, just walk 20 feet north or south and you'll run into another pump to check your air pressure on race morning. Running, pretty straightforward. Shoes, visor, salt, any nutrition you might need. Anything I'm missing? Anything anybody can think about that I might be missing here? We've all done this
Um,
a few times, except for Angela. What's that?
for the swim, what are the chances of it being foggy? Because I've seen posts of morning fog, especially
I've
with it
I've
being
actually
so
been
hot.
out there. I've been out there in October races where there's been fog and I couldn't even see the buoys. I actually got lost one time on this exact course. It was a different race promoter was putting it on, but it was October. For this race, I mean, have a set of clear goggles in case there is fog, but I've never ever had a foggy morning at Oceanside when it's been held in March or April. So be prepared with your tinted goggles. Have a set of clear in case it's foggy, but it's been sunny and clear every single time I've raced this, and I've raced it probably 10 times. Who's unmuted? Somebody unmuted? Mute if you're unmuted. All right, training, you need whatever you need. Like I said, liberally use that Vaseline, guys. Anywhere you might get hot spots on your feet, anywhere there's any type of friction between your race kit and your skin, and then between your wetsuit and your skin, use that Vaseline. Sunscreen, just lather it on before you leave your Airbnb or hotel in the morning. That will have sunscreen in transition, but you're better off just putting it on. And don't put sunscreen above your eyes. So put your sunscreen everywhere below your eyes, but don't put it on your forehead because when that we all know, but just a heads up, when it leaks into your eyes, it stings like nothing else. So there's that. All right, here's the schedule. You can look at the schedule. It's in the athlete guide. It's pretty straightforward. Just make sure you check out when the check-in times are. Some things to make note of on Friday, you have to check your bike in. So you got to go register where the registration is by the pier, and then you have to go over to the harbor and check your bike in on Friday. All right? You don't do that on Saturday. You don't bring it with you to the race. You do it on Friday, leave your bike there on Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., but you have to check in at the pier first, right? Get all your numbers, your bibs, and all that. And then you just take your bike over to the harbor and drop it off, and then you're done. Notice also the athlete briefing, anything that might change. It might be good to go to one of those just so you can see any specifics of the course that we're not going over now. It's a pretty straightforward course. It's not too crazy logistically, but it's always nice to kind of cross your T's and dot your lowercase j's by going to one of those briefings. And make sure you get checked in Friday. Saturday, transition opens at 4:45, closes at 6:30 a.m. The pros start at 6:40, so they want everybody out of transition by 6:30. You guys start lining up around 6:40, 6:35, and then the rolling starts around 6:50. You guys seed yourself based on your predicted swim finish time, so anywhere from 25 to an hour, right? So most of us will be in that 30 to 40 minute range. So seed yourself accordingly, and if you're questioning where you should be, talk to one of us, but be aggressive with it. So if you're 40, go closer to 37 minutes, right? If you're 30, go 30 and under, right? So be a little aggressive because everybody's a little aggressive. And they do have morning clothes bags. So whatever you bring to transition, you can. What I do, let me exit out of this. What I do is I take my backpack, my transition bag, and I tie the plastic bag they give you at check-in. I tie that to my transition bag. So I can just take, I have a lot more access to things, a lot more compartments and options in that transition bag. And it holds more morning clothes than just trying to stuff it in a plastic bag. So I take my backpack and I've done it however many races are right here. I've done it that many races and I've never had an issue with it. Bring a backpack, have everything you need in that backpack, put on your wetsuit, put on your goggles, put on your hat, stuff everything that you brought to the race in that bag, and have the bag that they give you at check-in that's the morning clothes bag with your number on it. Just tie that to your your backpack that you bring, and you have more room. Does everybody understand? It's a pro tip, right? So you don't have to stuff all your stuff in this tiny little plastic bag. Tie that bag to your backpack and then give it to the volunteer, and then that'll be at the finish line waiting for you. So you have all your clothes. You have to walk around in that stinky, sweaty kit all day until you go get your first place award. Everybody's good with that? Pro tip. Pro tip. That's what I'm here for. Pro tips. Eli, good with that? Yeah, Eli's always good.
Yeah, no, I have a mesh backpack that I do something very similar with. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So here's Saturday. Make sure you give yourself plenty of time. You don't have to be a transition at 4:45 a.m., but I say if most of you got there around 5:20, 5:30, that'll give you plenty of time to get the air in your tires, go to the bathroom if you need to go to a bathroom, kind of mill around a little bit. We'll get a little warm up in around 6 a.m. at the where you walk in the transition. Let's all meet at the banner, and we'll get a little team warm up in where we can kind of release some nervous energy together at the banner where you walk in the transition where all the athletes are walking in. We'll meet right around there at 6 a.m. All right, so get there, plenty of time to get air in your tires, get everything dialed in. So don't be rushing, but you also don't have to get there super early that you're laying around looking for something to do. Eat easily digested carbohydrates, nothing you haven't done before, nothing super spicy. Don't eat eggs in the morning. You always feel that in the swim. So eat oatmeal, maybe a scoop of jam, some peanut butter, nut butter. And then you're sipping on pH 1500 all morning, right? We want to keep the carbohydrates topped off as you get through your morning. Don't bring anything to transition you don't need, just the things you need. Just your bike gear, just your run gear, nothing else. You don't need a bucket of water or a stool or any of that. Just the things you'll need. Think about it, put it in your bag, set it up, and you're done. Make sure when you get there, you find where the swim in is. We're going to go over that in a little bit. Also, find the bike out, find the bike in, and then the run out, just so you know the path you're going to take to your bike when there's 2,500 other bikes there. And then once you get your wetsuit on, once you get your hat on, your goggles on, go over to where the swim lineup is, right? You're on the beach. We start on the harbor side, but you're on the beach, so you can go for a warm-up run if you're there early for the lineup. Just go for a warm-up run, go get away, take some breaths to yourself, but don't just mill around your bike for no reason. Once you get back to your bike after our little warm-up that we do together, get your wetsuit on, get your hat on, get your goggles on, and then go over to the swim start area, and you can kind of decompress while you're over there. This is just how you set up the transition. Everything is at your bike. It's one transition, so it's easy. So your bike, and then on the right side, you put your, see how this one is in the
Rob.
picture here? Hey, who's unmuted? Somebody mute. I can't
I
see
just
right now. I'm going to
I
yell
just
at.
unmuted because I have a question.
Okay, what's the question?
The warm up that you're doing at 6 a.m., is that going to be a swim warm up or just dry
No, no,
run?
no. Be in your running shoes. No, there's no swim.
Okay.
No swim warm up at this course. So, and
I
I don't
usually
want
dip
you.
myself in the ocean on
Well,
the
you
other
can do
side.
that. That's what I say you do before you can go run and dip yourself in the ocean if you get to the lineup early. So, because you can't. I'll show it in a minute. So remind me to come back to this. Let's go over the
Okay.
transition first. As you see down the right, if you haven't done this before, you put your running stuff, like in this picture, the running stuff is on the inside, and then your bike stuff, which you're going to grab first, is on the outside, and it should look just like that, right? Shoes, socks in the shoes, helmet on top. So then when you get to your bike, you can throw it all on, grab your bike, get to the bike out, go ride, come back in, rack your bike, take off your bike stuff, put on your running stuff, and head out to the run out area. Um, yeah, don't worry about putting your wetsuit in your bag. You don't have to do that. And then remember, you got to put that race belt on when you leave on the bike. All right, so here is the swim course. You see down the green and the checkered flag, it's a start and finish are in the same spot. What you do is you take it out. I mean, it's not very far, maybe 50 meters. You take it out, then you make a left-hand turn all straight away, all the way down. You make another left-hand turn out into kind of the open ocean. It's not really open, but it does get a little more choppy out there when you're heading out to that far turnaround, right? So it's not any breaking, it's not any swells, it's not any white water. It's just a little more bumpy. So be expecting that. Stay tight to the buoys. Don't let any type of current or anything push you to the right because it doesn't look like it's that wide of a berth right there, but you could get far off that buoy if you don't sight often, right? So make sure you sighting frequently. There's buoys every 100 meters, so just swim buoy to buoy to buoy. Once you make that far left-hand turn, that's where the sun is right in your eyes coming back. So what I usually do is I look for splashes ahead of me of other swimmers, and I also sight off that seawall on the right. As long as you're going parallel to that seawall, you know you're heading in the right direction. And then as you get closer to that first right-hand turn coming back, then the sun becomes less of an issue and you can see the buoys and you can see all the people around. So use the seawall on your right and use the splashing of the other swimmers in front of you to sight off of when that sun is right in your eyes. And then the whole way back, you can pretty much use the seawall to sight. You just got to make those right-hand turns. There's two red buoys there on the inside, these two. So you have a left-hand turn buoy right at the start, and then you have another left-hand turn buoy right where you head out to the open ocean, and then two more left-hand turn buoys to come back, and then you have two right-hand turn buoys before you get to that final drag to the finish. So just make note of that. You got to go on the left-hand side of those right-hand buoys on the way back. They don't let you cut the tangent, which is what they used to let you do. All the turn buoys are red. Um, and yeah, just be ready with some tinted goggles. Maybe it'll be foggy, but 9 times out of 10, it's going to be sunny.
So
All
are the
right.
last two buoys on your right, the last two turn buoys?
Yeah, the last two are on your right. So you're going to be they're on your right hand shoulder, so you have to be to the left of them. But all the rest are you're making left hand turns, you got to make the right hand turns on those. And then they'll funnel you into the finish. So it's not really a turn, it's just kind of a gradual movement towards the finish. Just know your predicted rolling start time, and you might have to be a little, not rude, but a little rude to get up to where you think you want to go because it gets pretty congested. Just be nice about it. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, right? Don't be, don't say, oh, I can't get through, so I'm just going to stay at 45 minutes, even though I'm a 30-minute swimmer. Make your way to 30 minutes. I've never had an issue doing it, guys. You just got to just like our training, right? We set our sights on a goal, we get there. You set your sights on 30 minutes, you got to get there, right? So get through the crowd to your predicted finish time where you want to be. Do what it takes to get there because you do not want to be stuck around a bunch of 45-minute swimmers if you're a 30-minute swimmer. And then getting out of the water, you're going to be with those athletes when you get onto the bike as well, and that's going to help your overall performance. Now, the water, even though it's in the mid 60s, it might be a little cold. You might jump in, you might get a little shock. Make sure you remember to relax, right? There's a chance you could hyperventilate. That's always a chance where you lose your breath. Just relax, right? If you do start to you lose your breath, move over to the side, get out of the way, get on your back, just float around for a minute, let that breathing regulate, and then get back into your swim stroke, ease back into it, and then you'll be fine. But it's just something to look out for in the wetsuit, colder water, people all around. You could hyperventilate. You can head that off of the pass by just focusing on relaxing and breathing from the start, right? Make sure you're exhaling as your head's in the water. Little inhale as you turn to breathe. Exhale all that air into the water. Don't hold your breath because that's what leads to that hyperventilation. Stay tight to the buoys, like I always said. When you get up and you're leaving the water, there's a pretty steep ramp, right? So use the volunteers to help. They're going to be helping you out of the water, but then take your time getting up that ramp. It could be slippery, and you're gonna be a little wobbly as you go up. Once it flattens out and it starts moving down the transition wall, you'll be fine. But just be expecting as you move from that horizontal to the vertical position, you start going up that ramp, you're not going to feel great. But there's going to be people that are like turtles, slow as molasses. It's a long transition. So once you get up that ramp and you get your wits about you, get into a little jog, right? I don't care what your goal is. Every single person comes to me and says, "Oh man, if I would have been 10 seconds faster in transition, I would have been this time or this time or this time." Know that every second counts in transition as much racing as everything else is, right? So as you're going down that wall in the transition area, which we're going to go over in a minute, use your voice on your left, on your left, on your left, because it is a long run. And if you just lollygag it down that run, you're adding minutes to your overall time. I'm not talking seconds, minutes, right? So, and you don't have to be sprinting. You just got to be moving, always moving forward. So use your voice to get through that area. Any questions on the swim? Anyone? Come on. That's why we're here.
I have a
Eli, what do you
couple
got?
of I have a couple of tips. If this is your first time race, if you've never done Oceanside before, I would get to the race site early on Friday morning. I wouldn't mess around Friday afternoon. I would get there early, rack your bike, and look at where your bike is. Walk away from your bike, come back, walk away. Look for somewhere, some like a lamppost, a toilet, whatever. And then the other thing is, I would walk the swim. I would walk all the way along the little there's like a little path that goes all the way down to the break wall.
Yeah, you can see that all the way to the end of the swim. You can walk
If
the whole
you've,
swim. You can see
if
it.
you've never done the race before, I highly recommend walking all the way down to the end to the turnaround, looking where the turnaround is and when you come back. And Jim and I have spoke about this for the last couple of weeks is visualize what you're going to do for the race. You're going to take it out quick or you're just going to go nice and easy. And then once you make that turn at the end of the break wall, that's when you want to start picking the race up again. You want to start really having a quick turnover and visualize the end of the swim. Visualize coming up that ramp. So,
Yeah, and that's right. I mean, it's a really good point. When you make that turn to come back, that's where you kind of fall in that like halfway lull. So
yeah.
inject a little energy into that stroke. You make that turn at the far end buoy where the sun could be in your eyes, and everybody's slowing down because of it. Put the hammer down and get the cadence up a little bit. Like don't let yourself fall into that lull, and that goes for biking and running too. Halfway through, three-quarters of the way through, you fall into this lull of just repetition, repetition, repetition. And you say, you know what, I gotta get out of this lull. Let me inject some speed into my cadence. Let me inject some speed in my turnover. Let me inject some speed in my swim stroke. So it's a really good point, Chris. Thanks. All right. Anything else on the swim? Speak up. If something comes to you while we're going over the next part, just speak up. Transition, same thing. Just make it snappy. You sit, you get to your bike, strip the rest of your wetsuit off if it's not off already. Throw on your socks, throw on your shoes, put on your helmet, your race belt, your glasses, and then get your bike and get out of there, right? You got to walk or run your bike to the mount line, which is at the bike, right over the bike out area. So get out, but just be careful because most of us have cleats on our shoes. Just make sure that you're running safely on those cleats because there's a lot of concrete and it could be slippery. So just be really cautious when you're in those cleats. Don't be hasty. If you wear socks when you're training and you're used to socks for the bike and the run, do it while you're racing, right? We don't want a blister to ruin our day. If you guys watched the PTO race a couple weeks ago, think it was PTO or was it Dallas Little Elm. One of them, the guy who was leading, had to drop out because he had a blister. So if you wear socks and that's what you're used to, wear socks. Take the time to put it on. You got to have your
And
helmet on and clipped before you take your bike off the rack. So let's make sure you get the helmet on and clip it, and then take your bike off the rack. You can't clip it at the bike out area. Jack, did you have something?
yeah, just if you need a wetsuit peeler, they're going to be at the end of you run all the way out almost at the transition mat when you're
Yep.
entering into the bikes.
Yeah, I have that on the transition. So on the map coming up. So good note. Bike course is they changed the one road, but you really don't even know it. Everything's pretty similar to what it's been in the past. 56.2 miles. You make you go a little 2/10 of a mile over what it should be. 2649 feet of elevation in, which is about 61 feet less than it has been in the past. So you make up some should make up some little time there. We always stay right. You only move left to pass. Make sure you look over your shoulder. That's safe when you're gonna pass somebody, and then move past them, and then you move back to the right when it's safe. Make sure your head's on a swivel. There's times when the bike course is pretty tight, and there's maniacs all over the place. So just be extremely defensive out there. Just pay attention to the signs and all the markings. It's pretty straightforward course. There's not anywhere you could really get lost or anything, but there are some bumps, especially about mile three, I believe it is, 3 or 4, when you go behind the commissary. It's a no pass zone. And I don't know what the hell it is. They just cannot. Jordy, tell your boys to pave this area because I've been racing this thing for 20 years and it's been like, you guys put landmines. I don't know if you do landmine practice back there or what, but it is just, there's divots everywhere. So be careful going behind the commissary. You could lose your nutrition. Just watch out. They're really good at spray painting all the divots and potholes and bumps, but it's a no pass zone. And it's kind of downhill, so you go pretty fast. Just be careful going in there and just don't lose any nutrition as you go through there. We'll talk about bike execution in a minute, but coming into the transition area, it's going to be the same path you're riding. You don't get off your bike. You're riding the same path you run out of the water, and it's very technical. It's technical to do on your bike. So I say go very slow in there, no matter who's behind you, who's ahead of you. When you're going down that little path to the dismount line, just be careful. I mean, you'll be fine. We can all handle our bike, but just take it slow. Don't go in there like a bat out of hell, screaming eagle and fly over one of the planter boxes, right? So you'll notice it as you're running from the swim to the bike out area that you'll see, okay, this is the thing that I'm riding later because the dismount line for the bike is all the way at the far end of transition, which we'll go over in a minute. So just make note of that it's a very technical ride to the finish. It's only the last 200 meters, but it's just something to take note of. So we want to be safe at all times. Make sure we're keeping a steady effort on the pedals. There's a lot of ups and downs on this course, but we don't want to be mashing too low or too high of a cadence. We always talk 75 to 80 RPM, so try and keep it in there no matter what you're doing. I already talked about the rough road on the commissary. Just look out for surfers when you're on old PCH. It's right along the water, and there's actually another no pass zone. So I actually saw a bike collide with the surfer one time there when the bike did not adhere to the no pass zone. So as long as you abide to that, you're fine. But just pay attention to it, all right? Pay attention to other people that aren't in the race that might be on a road like that aren't paying attention to the signs that they shouldn't be there. I already said we stay right at all times. Pay attention to the no pass zones. They'll tell you at the race briefings exactly where those are, but there's 3 of them. The hills come in, right? They don't come in
The
until like mile 30, right? And they end around mile 45. Majority of the climbing, right? So we have 2,600 feet of climbing and about 16 miles. So, um, so that's a lot, right? And there's times in that 16 miles where you feel like you're going nowhere. But be prepared because the first hour and a half, you're going to think, holy cow, I'm going to break 2 hours on this course. I'm freaking amazing. I'm crushing this. This is the fastest and then you hit mile 29 and you're like, what the hell? It's like the rug is pulled out from you, right? Because it's all this climbing in a very short amount of time. But the reason we train the way we train is because you can recognize it and you could say, you know what? I'm riding the course. I'm not letting the course ride me, right? So you're attacking the hills, you're pushing over the top, you're getting into the descent, you're rolling into the next hill, getting right on the pedals, keeping the power high. Remember, my athletes slow down the least when the course slows down, right? Everybody else, it's like there's a string pulling them from behind. We say, no, we're not going to let that string pull us back. We're going to put our head down. We're going to drive the knees and we're going to power up this hill, right? Right over the top, right back into the next hill. And then, like Chris was saying on the swim, you're going to feel mile 40. Oh, I'm climbing. Feels like I've been climbing for hours. Inject a little energy in there, right? Get out of the saddle, attack the hills, and just stay aggressive. We're all fit enough, we're all strong enough to be on the aggressive side of this race. And go off of effort, right? Concentrate on input, not output. I don't care what the power is saying, I don't care what the heart rate is saying. You know the effort that you need to hold to have a successful race for you. So pay less attention to the numbers and more attention to what you're doing, right? Focus on the input, not on the output. In the first 29 miles and the last 19 miles, aero. You can be aero a ton, most of the time. That middle section, when you're in all that climbing and you're on your TT bike, sit up, right? Don't worry about being an aero going up the hills. You're in a better position for climbing when you sit up and you're not in that TT position. When your mind starts to wander, it's quiet, you've been climbing for hours, focus on the process. Get right back to technique, get back to your knee drive, get back to your relaxation, get back to your breathing. Don't let the course beat you mentally because it's just up, 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 right? And it's never like you're riding Encinal or Latigo and you're climbing for 7 miles. It's just up, 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 down, up, 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 down, up, 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 down, right? So just say, okay, I'm gonna get to the next one. I'm gonna push over the top. I'm gonna descend. I'm gonna get into the next one, right? So break it down into little chunks, one after another, not I gotta go ride 56 miles. Stay on top of that nutrition, and that's a great way to break it up. No, I'm gonna sip on my drink every 5 minutes. I'm gonna take a gel every 15 minutes, and then you just stay on top of that nutrition timing, and it makes the course go by quick. They have pH 1000 at all the aid stations now. Precision Hydration is the hydration sponsor now. So pH 1000 is all the aid stations. So you should be taking a bottle of that at each aid station. And, taking the other bottle that you already used up and refill and re-upping with one of those pH 1000 actual water bottles that they have at the aid station. And they have aid stations every 15 miles. So it's 15, 30, 45 approximately. Jack, did you want to say something? Jacqueline?
Yeah. So the no pass zones, the three of them, there's one, the behind the mall is about mile 3, and then the bike path around mile 24, and the other one is about mile 38 on Barcelona.
Okay, so that's a new one. So yeah, just pay attention to signs. Thank you. That's and
The third one is the construction zone on the new road.
okay. So yeah, just pay attention to those no pass zones and just adhere to them. They're never very long. So if anything, if you're behind someone who's soft pedaling, just use it as time to get your nutrition in. But don't lose your mind because you're going a little slower than you should be going. They're very short. This is my one from 2024, my bike file. I had a pretty successful bike, but if you look at the heart rate, it's pretty steady the whole way, but it's a 90% heart rate. My max is my heart rate at threshold is 175. I think I averaged 159 here, right? So I held a 90% heart rate the whole way. I was pretty aggressive, but I was also really on top of my nutrition, right? So I was taking 90 grams of carbohydrates an hour. I was on 1,500 milligrams of sodium. I didn't miss any of it, and I got off the bike feeling great. I find if we're a little lackadaisical and we're a little too patient with our effort, no matter what you want to accomplish, if you're a little on the aggressive side of what we want to do out there, you're gonna have a better run than if you were waiting for the effort to come to you, or you were a little too patient with the effort. So be on the aggressive side. You guys are all fit and ready to rock. Be a little aggressive with what you're doing out there, and I find that you can find a new level of performance by doing that. And this is no matter what you want to accomplish. I don't care if you want a PR, if you want a podium, if you want to win, if you just want to finish. Be a little aggressive, especially on a course like this. If you take it out and you're just a little lackadaisical because you're worried, that's where you're letting the course have its way with you. Remember, we want to have our way with the course. Transition 2, come on in out of that technical little route to the dismount line. You get off your bike before the dismount line. There's going to be plenty of volunteers telling you to get off your bike. You go to your transition area, you rack your bike right where you got it from. You take off your bike shoes, throw on your run shoes, and then you're going to grab all the rest of your stuff, right? You're going to have your race belt on already. So if you're wearing a hat, sunglasses, nutrition, whatever else you need, you're grabbing with you and you're going to out T2. You're not going to stand at your bike and put all that stuff on and then go, right? So put your socks on, your shoes on, grab everything else you have, and you go and you put all that on while you're moving, while you're running towards towards the run out area. All right. So don't lollygag. Transition is much part of the race as everything else is. So as soon as you get out of transition and you get on that run course, you're moving towards that finish line, right? We don't want to ever stand still and stop and just kind of think, oh, I think I'm just going to take my time doing this. Keep moving forward, no matter what your goal is. I
I,
already
I have a
talked.
I have a
Yeah.
question about T1, T2. I'm sorry if you already went over this and I was late. But
How dare you?
the belt, do you have to wear the race bib number on the
On the
bike
bike,
this
on the
year?
bike. Yeah. This is a race belt. If anybody hasn't used a race belt, this is a race belt. Those bungees, the number goes on those bungees right there. And this is what you wear. If you don't have one of these, you can get it at the race expo. They have plenty of shops that have them. But let's make sure you have a race belt. We're not pinning anything to our sexy kit that you spend hundreds of dollars on. So this is a race belt. And you have to wear this on the bike. So that'll be in your transition area, and they'll stop you out of T1 and make you go back to your rack to get it if you don't have it on. Who asked that, Josh? Who asked
Yeah,
that
yeah,
question?
yeah. It was me. Thanks.
But dare you make me repeat myself. Anything else, Josh? You good? You always have good questions, so don't be afraid to speak up. All right, I already talked about all this stuff. Run notes. So you come out of transition, it's flat, guys. I mean, it is flat for probably a quarter mile, then you hike up the bridge and it goes back to being flat. Not a very steep section up the bridge, but it's a good spot. It's a good take out of transition because you can get that turnover up right away. Right. And we want the same thing. We want to focus on input, not output. I don't want you just staring at your watch, staring at your watch, staring at your watch. I want you running strong mile to mile to mile, and you're just running 1 mile at a time. Right. You're not worried about, okay, oh man, I'm at mile one. I have 12 miles to go. This sucks. How am I going to hold this? What the hell's going? No, quiet your mind and just run 1 mile to the next mile to the next mile. One segment to the next segment. You have right. You have the bridge, then you have the beach path, then you have up the pier, then you have down back to the beach path, then you have into the little neighborhood, then you have turnaround, and then you come back and you do it all again. So you have these little check-in points that by the time you get to the first turnaround, you know the check-in points, and you can just run to each check-in point. Right? There's some very steep uphills. Make those turns into the uphills and get those feet turning over, right? Get up the hill, get the feet turning over, drive the knees, and get up the hill. They're very short, but same thing. We run the course, we don't let it run us. So get up those hills. When you're coming down the hills, there. Hang on, Megan's calling me right now. She should be on this call. Hang on. Hey, well, I'm on the call with the team right now, going over the race. Why aren't you on this?
Are you really?
But Jesus, she didn't read her emails, guys. See what I do?
Know about
I'm in race mode right now. I sent an email to everybody. Yeah, we're on it right now. Okay.
you want me to get on there?
Yeah, get on there. You have the email, and yeah, yeah, you better get on there. Bye. See, I'm in race mode, guys. See, I don't take shit. All right, so get up those climbs quick, and then get right back into your running stride, right? Because we know we push over the top, we get the heart rate spike, the legs burn, but we get right back on that race pace effort after that burn, and we can hunker down. We can get through it without skipping a beat. All right, we good with that? You know when you get out to that far turnaround, it's quiet. Uh, there's not much going on. That's when your mind starts playing with you. So really dial into how you're moving, driving your knees, good posture, breathing, staying on top of your nutrition. Focus on the process. Don't let that bad wolf beat you. Any questions on the run so far? Jacqueline? No?
Nope. Good.
Eli, you got anything?
Now you're covering this pretty good. I mean, I don't not knowing the race, but just understanding the course profile is super helpful. It sounds like you got it nailed.
Yeah, and I mean it's a lot of it says, oh, it's a great flat course. I mean, there's a lot of little ups and little downs. We just got to really focus on that turnover and be careful on the steep downhills. There's two each loop, and don't just let the legs fly because you got to go into a tight turn, and you kind of got to put on the brakes a little bit to control yourself.
Are those downhills that are right around like that pier we run back and
Yeah.
forth on like every loop?
Well, one is the pier. You come down it going back coming back, and the other one is after you go up the pier, you got to come down back to the beach path, and yeah, so that's right around that same area.
Is it
But
all
here's
hard surfaces, or is there any
Yeah, it's
dirt
all
in?
hard. Everything's
All right.
hard. Yeah, it's all concrete. And that's why we got to focus on that knee drive, is because it is concrete, and if we're letting any compensation or imbalances kick in because we're getting tired, we're getting fatigued, we're getting mindless in our effort, the hard concrete really shows up in your knees and your hips and your joints. So keep on the knee drive, keep on your good posture, keep on that push off so we can keep the glutes engaged and keep the stress off of the joints on such a hard course like this, like a hard concrete course. But same thing here. If you look at the pace, my first half I went 6:03. The second half I went 6:15. Right, so I wasn't negative splitting. I was just running with what I had, mile to mile to mile. And I remembered it coming down to the finish, coming into that last turnaround, the last 3 miles. I was hurting. Everybody's hurting, but I said, okay, everybody's hurting. I'm not gonna show it. I'm gonna run with everything I have. And I reeled in, I mean, countless people on that last 3 miles because everybody's just faltering. I was on top of my nutrition. My mind was quiet, and I just hunkered down and gave what I had to the finish line, knowing once I crossed that finish line, I could release and everything would be fine again. So here's the transition Jack was talking about. So if you look at the bottom is where you come out of the swim, right? So swim finish.
Oh, by the way, it
Then
took me a while to realize this. This is like upside down from what it looks like on a regular map. If you're like trying to align it with what it looks like on the map.
right, we're across the river or the harbor, looking from across the harbor. So you're going to be swimming on the bottom of this map. So you come out, swim finish, and then you're going to come out. That blue line is what you run. Everybody has to run that blue line. Is Megan here? Did Megan get on? Where's she at? Ah! I belittled you into joining. I was just joking. I was trying to sound tough.
Coach, I'm here. I
I
just
know,
like
there
to
you
show
are.
up fashionably late.
Hey, I wouldn't expect any less. Okay, here we go. All right, so check out that blue line. So that blue line, you come out of the swim, it's a steep hill, a steep ramp up to that blue line. You make a right-hand turn, you follow that blue line all the way down to where Jacqueline said the wetsuit peelers are. So you can wear your wetsuit, you can strip it down to your waist, go all the way down, and then you lay on your back. The people peel off the wetsuits. You don't have to do that, but you can. You come through that little area and then you run to your bike, right? So somewhere in one of those dots is going to be your bike. And what Chris said is find something that's an object that's not going to move, that you can find your bike, right? So it's a palm tree or an outhouse or a flag or something, because when you come in from the swim, it's going to look a lot different than when you left for the swim. So find your rack, grab your bike, and then you go out at the left hand side of the screen is the bike out. So you got to take your bike and you have to run or walk with it safely all the way to that bike out area. So don't forget to put on your bib or your race belt, because you have to go all the way back to get it with your bike. Right? So put that on, make sure your helmet's on, you have everything you need, and then go to that bike out. When you come in, it says bike in that same area, and come down that same chute, you make a right hand turn, and then you're riding that blue line, like I was saying. That blue line where those two tight left hand turns into the right hand turn. It's not super sharp, but you guys just got to be aware that it's coming up. You can't be screaming down there. So be safe. You ride all the way down, and then it says dismount line. You get off your bike, you run your bike to your rack, you rack it, you throw on your running shoes, and then your run out is the same spot that the bike out is, right? So it's the same spot over there. Questions on transition? Everybody good with that?
It's a huge transition,
I have
guys.
a question. Wait,
Yes.
so your bike's going back to where you get it?
Yes, exact same. Because
Okay.
that's where your running shoes are.
Right,
So your
okay.
running shoes, everything's right there, and it's the same space the whole time.
And in transition, especially with your bike, I always am screaming on your left or through the center, because people are not paying attention when they're taking their bikes on and off the rack, and they kind of go slow. So I'm
Yep.
always yelling, make a hole.
That's right. Just use your voice, guys. Don't be afraid. You're not putting anybody off. You just let them know you're there. All right. Nutrition. We all practice our nutrition. We know what we need to be do for each of us needs to do. About every 15 miles on the bike, every mile on the run, you'll have aid stations. The way they're set up is every time, this is all Ironman and half Ironman events. Water, then you'll have your pH 1000 drink, then you'll have gel, food of any type. The run, you'll have Coke. You won't have Coke on the bike. And then you get another chance at the pH 1000 in the water on the run and the bike, right? So the only difference is you don't have Coke. But other than that, they're all set up the same. So you know when you come up to a bike aid station or a run aid station, this is what it looks like. And that's what the volunteers have, right? There's 5, 7 volunteers with water, 5, 7 with pH. And there's another, same thing, 7 volunteers with gels or food, another 7 volunteers with water, with pH 1000, and then water to finish. The waters on the bike are all in bottles that'll fit in your, for the most part, they'll fit in your water bottle holders. We all are looking for about 75 to 120 grams of carbs an hour based on you and what you've been practicing with. Make sure we're getting it in, guys. 1,000 to 1,500 milligrams of electrolytes an hour, right? So now that we have pH on course, it should be pretty easy to get that in. You start with a 1,500. Every hour, you're upping with another 1,000, and you're on top of that sodium. What we do with our gels is we can take all of our gels. I'm going to exit out and show you guys here. To save yourself from having to rip 1,000 gels, we take all of our gels, right? I like this thing. This is Flow Gel. This is 300. So this is 10 gels right here, pretty much. So this is 10 gels that I've gotten from Precision. They have this at the expo, but this is 10 gels. I take it and I put it in this bottle right here, right? So the course throughout, and I keep this bottle between my legs. And I'll sip on this every 15 minutes. I finish this by the end of 56 miles. I know I've had 300 grams of carbs, and that's what I'm looking for, right? So you figure 2.5 hours, whatever, that's over 100 hours. So I know I get in what I need. And that's a clean way to do it, right? So don't think I need to tape 15 gels in my top tube and rip one every 20 minutes. Take all your gels and put it in one bottle. If there's any room of in the top, you fill the rest of it with water. It dilutes it down a little bit, and you're just sipping on that every 15 minutes. So in one bottle, you have all your gels. In the other bottle, you put your electrolytes with 1,500, 1,000, whatever you're starting with. When you're done with that, you throw it, you take another one from the aid station, and you just switch out that bottle with your electrolytes. But you don't need 15 bottles on your bike. It's only weighing you down when you get into that middle section that 16 miles of 2,600 feet of climbing. If you have 7 bottles on your bike, that's extra 7 pounds you're bringing up each hill, right? So just have on your bike what you need. 1 bottle with your carbohydrates and water, and 1 bottle with your electrolytes. That's all we need. Then you go through aid stations. You can take a regular water if you want to swoosh out your mouth or dump it on yourself, but don't think you need 5 bottles on your bike, because that's just bringing up extra weight up those hills. We good with nutrition? Everything? Chris, you good?
Yeah, I was just thinking that it's a huge race. I think it's 2,500 people, and there's people all over the place. A huge transition area. You just got to pay attention and worry about yourself. Don't worry about anybody else. It's just exactly the same on the run. There's a lot of people on the bike path, a lot of people coming and going. Just stay to yourself. Keep, you can control this race by staying vigilant and staying awake, and don't look at anybody else. Oh, he stopped. Maybe I can stop.
Yep.
Just
and they're all over the
do
place.
your own race. There's people everywhere. So
yeah, that's right. Race your race. Focus on your input.
that's it. So what you can do.
Then on the run, we have water, pH 1000. If you need a little burst of energy, you can take some sips of Coke. Make sure you stay on top of your gels, and don't think just because you grab a Morton and you're taking it, you got to take the whole thing. Maybe your stomach isn't feeling like you need a full gel at every other aid station, or every third aid station, right? Because approximately we want to take a gel every 3 miles, right? So that's usually what it works out to time-wise, based on how frequently we want to take in those carbohydrates. If your stomach is just feeling a little sick or whatever, don't think you need to take the whole gel. Take half a gel, right? And then the next couple miles later, take another half a gel, right? So I don't want you to have any kind of upset stomach because you're forcing in those carbohydrates. Take water with it. Make sure you're flushing it out with some straight water, but try and take in carbohydrates every 3 miles, and then you're sipping on an electrolyte drink every mile, so you're getting a little bit in. But the same thing, you don't have to guzzle it, right? You're taking little sips as you go through, and you're doing that frequently. All right, so for the first
on that note,
yeah,
with the electrolytes and carbs, is I follow now by what Cam Wharf had mentioned is like you can come out of a caloric deficit if your stomach is iffy, but you can't come out of an electrolyte deficit. So you got to just stay on the
So
electrolytes and keep them
true.
separate
Yeah, I put
because
that
you
on. I
can
put that
always
on my
catch them.
last. Look at it. Look at that. The last thing I put in it. Electrolytes are your power pellet. God, Jacqueline, we're on the same page. Okay, so here's some things I just want to go over on the bike before I let you guys go. So use the first few miles to settle in, get through the no pass zone behind the commissary, and then dial in. Don't think right from the get go. You put the hammer down, right? Get through the first 3-4 miles. Once you make the left out of the commissary, that no pass zone, then you can start to really dial into that about 80% effort, right? 80% feel. Um, but you're going to have a ton of like little ups and downs for the first 29 miles, but it's a good time to front end load the course, right? So don't be afraid to be on the aggressive side of the effort until you make that turn in the Cape Pendleton and it starts going up, right? So front end load some time on this course where you think, oh man, I'm going to have a world record bike split on this course because I'm averaging 22 miles an hour. I've never done that before in my life. I'd rather you be a little aggressive at the first 29 miles. So you front end load and then you get into the climbing and you already have banked some time um, when the course does slow down. But be aggressive in the climbing, right? We're fit, we're strong. Be aggressive. Don't think I'm just gonna lollygag up this hill and save myself for the run. Whenever anyone saves themselves for the run, it never leads to a good run, right? I want you to be a little aggressive in there. Keep that edge. Keep those muscles firing, and that's what leads to the good run. So be on the aggressive side when you're going through that hill, that hilly section. Like I said, you dictate the course. You don't let it dictate you. We stay on the pedals. We keep the effort up. You start to feel that lull. Get out of the saddle and inject some energy into it. Break it up. There's always markers every 5 miles. So it'll tell you 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You could just ride uh, marker to marker, right? So just ride 5 mile to 10 mile, 10 mile to 15, 15. Okay, where's the 20 mile? Let me look for 25, right? So just ride one marker to the next while you're staying on top of your nutrition intervals, and then they start to fly by.
I also
Uh,
noticed that the wind pattern, as the day goes on, the wind gets more powerful.
all right, so go faster earlier in the day, right?
Yeah.
Right. You don't want the wind. Get to go fast. Um, Sit up when you're climbing. You get better muscular engagement, so don't think you need to stay in the TT position. Make sure we're pushing over the top of the climb. Get out of the saddle. Get back up the speed into those downhills as fast as you can. So we are, burning less time on course, getting up to speed. And I already gave you guys a heads up on that technical T2 inlet into T2. Run execution. So if you looked at my run map, where was it? And I'm going on. I've had some good success in this course, so I just want to go. And I'm not saying you have to go to or run a 120, but I'm just saying how can we have the best performance possible? Because that's what we're out there for, right? We want to feel good and have a good performance. But if you look at my run map there, if you look at the 000, right when I took out a transition, you see that spike, right? That's 5 minute per pace mile. So I took it out hard. I took it out aggressive, and then I settled back down to around 6 minute pace from there. But I want you guys to come out and be aggressive coming out of transition, right? I feel like we set the tone aggressive. We're going to stay aggressive the whole way through. If you set the tone conservative, you stay conservative, right? And some of you might be saying, I just want to finish this freaking race. Why are you being so, aggro on these efforts? It's because I want you guys, you have fun when you're racing. I talked to Jordy about this earlier. It's like we have fun when we're out there, when we're training and we're giving it our all and we're feeling that flow and we're in that effort. That's when we're having fun out there. And that's what I want you guys to feel. I don't want you just to feel, I think I'm gonna make it to the next mile. I might make it to the next mile. I want you to be aggressive, right? Be aggressive from the start. We want to set the tone right away that you're going to be aggressive and you stay that way the rest of the race. If you take it out conservative, you're going to stay conservative, right? And we know we have fun when we're on top of that effort. So stay on top of that effort. Get out of transition, get the turnover up, and get aggressive with that pace, right? And then we're just hanging on to that pace, 1 mile to the next mile to the next mile. We got a steep hill up, steep hill down, back into it, 1 mile, next mile, right? And then you know what the course looks like, and you can look at those little checkpoints and run to each checkpoint. Pay less attention to the watch, more attention to how you're running and the effort you can maintain 1 mile to the next, right? It's all the stuff that goes through my mind when I'm racing. I just want to make sure it's going through your mind as you're racing. When you make that last turnaround with 3 miles left, commit. Commit to enduring the hurt. It's hurting for everybody, but you have the durability. We've done the work. We've committed to the process. You have the durability to last. It hurts, right? But the amount of athletes that you can pass in that last 3 miles is astounding if you commit to enduring that hurt. So commit to it. You make that last turn, put your head down, hunker down, and said, you know what? I don't care how bad it's going to hurt. I'm going to run 1 mile to the next. Before you know it, I'm going to be at the finish line. Everything's going to be fine. I'm going to be celebrating with my team. So commit to enduring the hurt at that last turnaround. Some final thoughts. Focus on input, not output. I said it plenty of times here. Stay dialed in. Find your flow. If you find your mind starting to wander, bring it back to the process. Bring it back to the here and now, and stop thinking about what could be, what should be, what's going to be. Think about what is, right? And then electrolytes, as Jack just said, is your power pellet. Early and often, you're starting to feel lethargic. Your mind is wandering. You start to feel cold, right? You start to get goosebumps. You're low in electrolytes. It's not always cramping that shows low in electrolytes. It's your mind starting to wander. It's getting goosebumps. It's stopping sweating. It's all these things that you have to read and say, I need more electrolytes. I need more pH. Let me take a salt pill. Get them in, and you'll start to feel that instant energy, injection of energy. Any questions? Anything anybody wants to go over? Because this is our core right here. This is our fist. So if there's something that you guys want to go over, we're all going to be together in 2 days. So is something on anybody's mind that you guys want to talk about that we didn't cover here? Jordy, what's on your mind? All the Marines are going to be out there cheering for the Tower 26 athletes, right?
Oh yeah, it's time to go win. That's what I'm thinking.
This is Jordy's backyard. This is where he goes to work every day.
Yeah, I could do this course blindfolded.
That's right. That's right. Eli, what did I miss?
I don't think you missed anything. I just want to reinforce that this is like a second half game. So each of these three activities that you're going to be doing, you're going to be swim, bike, and run. It's going to be about the second half of each of those. That turnaround on the swim, it seems like every time there's a turnaround, complete turnaround about halfway through the swim, that's when everybody stops and slows down. They're going to be staring into the sun, and everybody, it's going to come to a halt. You're just going to be in this crowd of swimmers, and that's the time to just put your head down and go. And the same thing with the description of the bike and the run. It's going to be the same story. Halfway through, you're going to be getting to that. What mile is the hill's going to start, Jim? What did you say?
29. Mile
29 miles in, everybody's going to start slowing down. We train for that. Just that's the time to hammer up. So that's when we have to go. We have to go in the second half.
Yep. Very well said, buddy. Very well said. Chris, anything from you?
Yeah, go out and enjoy it, everybody. It's a fun race. It's a fun race.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
All right,
do
so
I got one for you, coach.
yeah,
So last year, I know it's way warmer this year, but last year I went down with hypothermia and didn't get to finish the race.
yeah.
So I run crazy cold, and I freak out before every race, and sit there and let myself fry in my nerves. So I was going to talk to you about this privately, but I might as well do it on the call. You have to get into that canal. I always try to weasel my way, up front at the end of it, which is sometimes difficult. But you're sitting there waiting to start. How do you keep yourself warm so that you're not just hitting the water? That's what I did last year. I sat there and froze and froze and froze, let my nerves get crazy, and I'm jumping into the water going, I'm already freezing. I'm jumping into freezing water. And sure enough, it took me out.
Yeah, so keep moving. I mean, jump up and down, right? Squats. You can do some arm circles as long as you don't hit anybody. Just move your arms back and forth, right? Try and keep the heart rate up, keep the body moving, right? As you slowly start to funnel to the start. But then once you hit the water, especially for someone like you or like Angela, it's her first race, right? She doesn't know what the hell's going on, right? And it's typical to have that type of feeling. You got to ease yourself into it. You think my race doesn't start until I hit the second buoy. Right? You just got to be really relaxed and say, I didn't get a warm up, but no one else did either. Right? So no one has a leg up on me. So don't be in such a rush to hammer the effort right from the start. Everybody else is in the same boat that we're in, that there's no warm up. So move as you're in the line funneling to the start, right? Jump up and down, start moving your arms, start doing some arm circles, right? Do some things that get you moving, where you're not hitting anybody. But then once you get in the water, think, okay, 2, 3 buoys in, then I can start to really find my groove. But until that point, I'm just warming up. I'm just getting the body moving. There's no stress on me. There's no stress on effort until I hit, let's say, the third buoy for you. But you
So,
just
Okay.
have to
so
go into
by
it.
the way, I don't know if you looked at the forecast for water temp. It's going to be warm this year. It's going to be 67 degrees, which I think
Yeah.
typically it's like 60. So
Yeah, it's nice. It'll be nicer than it is, but it's the nerves too, right? It's even not even so much the cold, it's the nerves where you hold your breath and you have all this tension build up and there's all these people around and you want the performance. The performance doesn't start until mile 3. I mean, until the third buoy, right? You just ease your way into it. And then as you slowly ease your way into it, your cadence can come up, your breathing rate can come up, your heart rate can come up, but don't just go from a heart rate of 60 to heart rate 180 right away because I gotta race. It's my race. I gotta do it. No, ease it up, ease it up, ease it up. It's just like we're warming up on the bike or warming up on the run. We just don't go just sprint right out of the door, right? We don't just get on the trainer and sprint unless you're Cody. We we ease into it. We do our warm up, and we don't have the luxury of getting in and doing a 30-minute warm up. That would be ideal, but we don't have that. So ease into it. Use the first 300, 400 as a warm up, and then you can find that swim stroke because that's not going to make or break your race if you use that time to ease into it.
Okay.
Also, in the corrals, you can get one of those like sexy, you have to bring it because they don't have them prior to the race, but one of those like sexy foil blankets. And also, I wear old socks and I just toss them out at the start.
Yeah.
Keep your feet warm because that's really cold pavement.
Mm-hmm. All right, Angela, your first race. What do you got? What's on your mind? First race, guys. Come on, unmute.
There's a lot going through my head, to be honest. I'm just trying to stay calm, to be honest with
We're
you.
just going out there and exercising for a few hours. Don't put too much stress on yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I expect the podium from you, but don't put too much stress on yourself.
Wait, I actually have one question about the bottles. Do you guys just have like random bottles? Like, so you're gonna just chuck your bottle?
Yeah, like they're like crappy bottles. You can get free ones from. They're usually giving them away at the expo area. You can grab a crappy one and
Okay.
you just chuck the electrolyte bottle and you'll grab another one. So
And they'll
you'll
be
net.
handing them out. Like, do you actually stop in like in the bike, or do you just grab
You
it?
can stop if you're not safe grabbing something. I mean, it's an easy grab. They hold it out there and you just
Okay.
grab it from them. But if you're not comfortable grabbing it, you look behind you, make sure you're not slamming on the brakes with somebody behind you, but you can easily come over and
Okay.
grab it and then get going again.
Okay.
I
Go
suggestion
slow.
if you're grabbing bottles off the course is have hair ties or something to lock down a bottle because they're not like typical water bottles. They don't fit in your cages. They're not snug in there. So if you're planning on
Um,
swapping something in, you need something to kind of like hold
Well,
it down.
hang on, stop. So the water ones might not fit in there, but the pH ones will be in real water bottles. So
Oh,
that's
really?
just
Because I think
you know.
we're in Arizona, they just had them they just had like mixed into the water bottles, I
I don't know.
think.
I got this one from. I thought that was Arizona. I don't know. We'll find out. But
Yeah.
you're right. Just make sure you're right. You don't want to lose a bottle if you take it. So if you put it in your bottle cage, just make sure it's hunkered down in there and you
Oh,
jam
I
it in
mean,
there.
well, just the ones I was grabbing in Arizona, it wasn't even about losing it. Like it wasn't snug at all. Like it was just like wouldn't
Hmm.
even stay in there for like half a second. Yeah.
Well, we'll find out that answer. But let's just make sure that.
Oh yeah, real quick. It's crazy bumpy at the beginning of this ride. So if my things are tight, but crud will fly off of everyone's bike, including yours.
Yeah, I'm trying something new for my torpedo up front this time, which I'm just going to tape it down. Like once I put it in the holder, I'm just going to take electrical tape and just tape it right in there, so it doesn't have any room to slide
Yeah,
around
that's
at
what I
all.
do. Like the ones that stay on your bike, I tape them down. I don't move them. But the regular water rods, like Angela, if you're worried about that, if that's something like you could pull over and you could refill your bottles and then put them back in and get going again. You don't need to grab them on the fly, right? If you're low on one of your bottles, you pull over safely, grab a bottle from a volunteer, fill up your bottle you have, put the top back on, put it in, and get going again. It takes 10 seconds, right? So that's not a big deal. I don't think you need to grab it on the go. But we do have a lot of aggro triathletes here, so they will be grabbing it on the go. So, but Josh, thank you for that. Josh, what else on your mind?
I was just thinking about the markings so there's no speed limit this year, right? For the bike.
No, they took that
Um,
out.
the but just the other, like the no pass zone, is it really clearly marked? Like,
Yeah, it'll tell you, hey, no pass zone and whatever, no pass zone and
because I'll tell you, when I'm riding, I see nothing. I'm like just steering, and like I give you an idea. First time I rode PCH, someone's like, "Oh, we just passed Pepperdine." I was like, "Oh, where?" You know.
Well, yeah, I mean, it should be clearly marked. If it's not clearly marked, it's on them. But there's volunteers there saying it. It's spray painted on the ground. There's signs. I don't think it'll be an issue.
And when you were showing that map coming back in to T2,
Yeah.
what can you like drag your mouse across or show something of like, it wasn't exactly clear to me like where we're coming through and
Yeah. So coming to T2. So you'll come in where it says bike in on the left-hand side.
yeah.
Right? And then you come in on the right-hand side of that path. And they veer you into they veer you in with a funnel into where that blue line is on the bottom. It's the exact same path
The
you
swim
would
staging
run.
area you're talking
Yes,
about, right?
exactly. Swim staging area. So that is
So we're coming in from the left to the right, and then we actually pull in, or oh no, we start on the right. We drive through that swim staging area, and the bike in is on the left. Is that right?
No. So the bike course is to the left of this map. Right? So
Okay.
if you're looking at the transition area from across the harbor, that's the way this map is. Right? So you come in from the left-hand side of the map where it says bike in, but you're not dismounting. See the dismount line on the right-hand side? You're not dismounting until that dismount line. So you're riding in the bike in all the way to the dismount line on that little path that's blue where it says swim staging area. Right? So you're not getting off your bike until that dismount line.
And then where do we we pull in like the bike actually, so we're off the bike at the dismount line, and then we pull in like kind of around where that wetsuit peeler thing is.
Yeah,
or
you
like,
gotta walk or run your bike around that 180. You
okay.
run a 180 around where it says swim staging exit. You're running your bike around that 180 back to your rack.
Okay.
Got it?
I
And
think
you'll
so.
see all this in the morning when you're there, right? And you'll run it when you go on the bike, when you go out of the swim. So it's you'll know exactly what you're doing, but you can't miss it. It's not like you mess it up. But if you are taking your shoes off before you get off the bike, right? Say you're a guy who likes to take his shoes off before you get off the bike, you do it before that transition entrance on the left. You do it in the straightaway coming into the bike in area. You don't do it in that swim staging area path. All right.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I don't take my shoes off, but that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Okay, so 6 a.m. I'll send out a note to all you guys again. 6 a.m. We'll do a little team warm up. I'll be there. Francisco asked me to run for him for his relay team, so I will be there running the half marathon. Surprise! I'll be on course with all you guys, right? So no slackers. Nell, come on. I'll be out there racing. Francisco, thank you, buddy. It's gonna be fun. So I'll be there. I'll be in my blue track suit. Everybody, if you got your blue track suit, wear it. We'll be there 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. But parking, you park anywhere. There's all those little neighborhoods. You can park in any of those neighborhoods and just walk from anywhere in that between T1 and T2 and the finish line. There's all the parking in there. Just park on one of those streets, those side streets, and walk over there. It's never far. So don't stress out over parking. And I think that's it. Eli, is that it?
That's it. Well covered.
Hey Jim, it's MJ. Quick question for you.
Hey, MJ.
Hey,
Where's your camera?
I turned off because I was on the bike train. I trying to punch this out and multitask.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Hey, so quick question. Is there any plan to set up like any exchange of information or like a group text so people can coordinate on the ground and just, if people aren't watching email, etc.?
Yeah, we can do that. I will put it together tonight. So
Awesome.
if you think I don't have your phone number, just reply to me with that email I sent out with your phone number, and I'll add it to a group text so I can send it to everybody. Right? There's like 18 of us, so I'll put it together later. Good idea, MJ.
Thanks.
Anything else on your mind? No?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. All right, guys, get some good sleep. Stay on top of those carbohydrates. Start your electrolytes now. Right? I'd rather you start your electrolytes now than wait until Sunday night, Saturday night, Friday night. Sandy, good job. Thanks for joining. Yeah. Sandy, you good?
Yeah, I think so.
You're going to crush it, buddy. Know that.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
See you, boys.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
All right. Love you guys. Bye.